Hello, this is Becca from Willow Hill Designs. Thank you for joining me today. I've made a start on my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, Volume 6, which is Field Notes project. And so for my base, for my stitch piece, I've decided to use muslin. I thought that that would be a nice, I love using muslin, and it's nice, it's easy to stitch through. But I had a 2-yard piece of muslin, and being that there are 4 seasons and 3 prompts per season, I knew that we would need 12 pages. So this is 2 yards, so that's 72 inches. And what I did was I opened the muslin out so that one of the selvage edges was on one side, that they run parallel to each other. This is for anyone that maybe hasn't done this before. And so the selvage edge would be up here, and the selvage edge has a nice fringy kind of an edge, if you can see that up here. Just a nice, and it's all kind of finished, it's tightly woven, so that makes a nice edge. And so all I did was come down 8 inches and made a snip and tore along the length of that selvage edge, so it would be down the length of the fabric. And then I went to the other end where the selvage edge would be, and I marked 8 inches as well and did another tear. So I have 2 pieces that are 8 inches by the width of the fabric, 72 inches. So dividing, I needed 12 pages, so dividing 12 into 72 gave me 6 inches. So my page widths are 6 inches, so 6 inches wide by 8 inches long. And all I did on this fabric was make a little tick mark, 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 on down. And then I just folded it there and pressed it, and it just helped me to come out even at the end with all of it. So I did 2 of these. One is where I'll be putting my stitching, and the other one is a lining. And that's so that when you open it out, whatever is put on these pages, you won't see the stitching on the back, like all of your work, maybe traveling or, you know, knots and things like that. And that's just my preference, that I don't want to see that. Of course, you know, other people may like that. That's fine. So this will be the piece that I'll be stitching on, and this will be the lining. And so this lining will go like this when all of the stitching is done, and it will just be put back to back with this. And the way I worked it was that one selvage edge would be at the bottom, and the other selvage edge is at the top. And so they will just run back to back with each other, and I will stitch in between each page, so that secures the stitch pages to the lining. And I will also stitch all the way around the whole 72 inches along the top, the sides, and back, so it'll enclose the whole thing. So because the lining will be like this, and because it's accordion folded pages, I'll be putting my cover here, because when this is folded, actually the lining will be on the top. The first part of the lining will be on the top, the rest of it will be underneath. So I'll be putting my cover here on the lining piece. So that's how that will work. And I have stitched on accordion folded pieces before, and I don't enjoy it, because either all of your fabric is to the right of you, and you know, you're trying to get your needle and thread in and out, and you have to dodge all that fabric or roll it up, and then it's heavy on one side, or it's all to the left, depending on where you are in your stitch piece, or it's hanging off either side. So I didn't want that. So what I did was I had this fabric, which is Stonehenge fabric, And it's an ivory fabric with some very, very pale green modeling on it. And I liked that. I thought that it gave me the feel of nature, that kind of that vibe. So I tore 12 pages or leaves out of that Stonehenge fabric. And again, here's a close-up of it. And I could, if I wanted to, I could stitch, depending on, you know, how you feel at the time, I could stitch on more of the ivory side, or I can stitch with the side with the modeling. So for the first one of these, again, my lining piece will be over the top. My cover will go here. And then as I finish a prompt, I will stitch it to the pages here. And these were torn just a tiny bit smaller than the 6x8. So it's probably like, I think it was 7 3/4 by 5 3/4. So it's just a scant smaller than the actual pages. And this is how it will go. And these pages will go on each of the accordion folded pages. And again, I'm lining it because you'll see all the stitching and knots and everything on the back, so I want a lining on here. So that's kind of an easy way if you're doing the accordion fold and you don't want to stitch on this big long, for me, 2 yards, 72 inches, 6 feet long piece. You can just hold in your hand these pages, stitch them, and then add them to your journal or your guide, your field guide. So that is my field guide here, or the base for my field guide. And I've drawn up my cover for this little, and so the cover again will go on the lining. It will go on the lining, which will then, you know, it will open. I should do it so that you can understand. So this will be the cover of my little field notes journal, and then of course the other pages will follow along. So for this, I just wrote in here field notes with my friction pen, which will iron away. And I just wanted something kind of a simple look to it. And then I put my initials down here. And I drew some plants, some kind of viney little greenery on here. And I'm doing these in 2 colors, a lighter green and a darker green. And it will have some flowers on here along with the leaves. And then I just drew a line around here, a rectangle, because it made me think of maybe an old book cover that you might see. Not quite sure what I'll do that line in, what color, but I just wanted this to have sort of a vintage vibe to it. And the way that I achieved that with these edges looking like this is I tried a couple of different experiments. I took some of that fabric, the Stonehenge fabric, and for this one, I took I keep a jar of coffee in the fridge, just black coffee, that I use for things like this. I took an old brush that I use for faux finishing, and I just dipped this in the coffee and just wet the edges. This fabric was dry to begin with, and I just went all the way around the edges, and I set that aside to dry. And the coffee seeped into the fabric to a certain point, and it left this kind of a frame around it, and I really liked it. I said, oh, that's very interesting. So I think this may be just a little page that I will include in my journal, maybe with a flower or some kind of a little creature or something. So that I think I may use and include in there. So then I did another experiment again with the coffee around the edges, and I set it to dry. And again, I had that defined, very defined edge that I have here. And so I wanted to make that disappear, so I got some peroxide in a spray bottle and sprayed that. And it just blended all of that harsh line out. So the center of the fabric is clearer, but the edges they have that kind of vintagey brownish look. So that was nice, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So I got my Distress Oxide ink by Ranger, and this is Walnut. And all I did with that was I just took my brush and I just kind of dabbed along the edges with this ink. And you can do as many passes as you would like. You can use different colors, Vintage Photo, the walnut, or there's espresso, different colors you can use. I mean, you could also use a different color. It doesn't have to be browns. But I liked that because that gave a very nice vintage feel. And I will use these, I think, in my journal. And so that's what I did along these edges here, was just to, and I mean, it's really nothing, nothing more than dabbing with the brush along the edges and making it as dark as you'd like it to be, or leaving it as light as you'd like it to be. Put a little more up here on this edge. And I mean, that's it basically. And I will be ironing this to remove all of the friction pen outlines of my sketching. So when I iron it, I'm sure that it will make all of this permanent if it's not already. I haven't done any testing on it to see if it will bleed or anything like that, but I'm really not planning on washing this or anything. Hopefully it doesn't get wet. So that's kind of a nice way if you would like to make your page or pages. I may do that on all the pages. Make them look a little bit more vintage. So I thought that that was kind of interesting. And my inspiration for my field notes, and I haven't gone ahead and done anything on any of the pages because we don't know what the prompts are, and this is not a huge page, 6 by 8, so I didn't want to take up any room just yet putting pieces or anything in there until we know what the prompts are. So I didn't work ahead to do that. But some of my inspiration, as we all know, I think most of us are aware of the Edith Holden Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. And that's beautiful, and I do love it. So that is one of my inspirations. And another, others that are even more so for me, very inspirational, are these books by Marjolaine Best, and this one is Nature's Sketchbook. And these just have beautiful renderings in them. And of course, this is like a field journal for her, and she does pine cones and hollies and all sorts of, just all sorts of things, birch barks, and maybe the birds that she sees, bittersweet, and some sort of thistle, milkweed pods, which I think are beautiful. I have some that are dried and they're silvery inside. They're really beautiful. Just different things that she sees on her walks, the birds, the different flowers, and she tells something about some of them. Some she doesn't know, she can't identify. But I just think her books are absolutely beautiful. Some blackberries. This looks like it might be mallow, and the swamps, and cherries, apples. just different things, little bunnies, things that you may see, little birds, and looks like apple blossoms or cherry blossoms here. Birds with their nests. These are really beautiful, beautiful books. So I will be using, and I mean all these on the inside feathers. I just came across a blue jay feather the other day and saw a monarch butterfly out in the amongst my flowers. So this is another source of inspiration for me. And this is another book inspired by Nature Sketchbook by Marjolaine Bastian. And there's actually places in here for you to draw and sketch and write. And she has different birds. If you're near the ocean, sea holly. Some different fungi here, mushrooms. And of course she leaves notes for you of kingfisher. Just lots of inspiration in this book. See, I think this is a cedar waxwing, is it? Yes, cedar waxwing on that. Butterflies. So her books are a beautiful rose-breasted grosbeak. Just some beautiful pictures. I should really hold them up closer so that you can see. But this is just a beautiful book, and there's different types of leaves that you may come across. And I like her style of showing a picture of it and then writing something about it. So I'd like to follow that line if I could. Bluebirds sitting in some berries, and I have mushrooms like that. I think this looks like a plover. Just all of the things that she sees, and then her little writing sketches, and then her writings. So I love this. This will be my inspiration for my journal, or I think it's a journal. And I wanted to say that mine is not going to be in a book form with covers or anything. It will be stored in this box. And I have this little box, which is a perfect size for it. And so my pages will go in there. Well, here's the lining. It'll be thicker with all the stitching and everything on it. But this is where my little piece will sit in this book, and this will be in my quilt studio. And what I'll do is go around the edges of this with the Ranger ink and antique the edges. I may put some decorations on this box. I'm not going to cover it. It's not going to be a totally covered box because I love the box. I think it's beautiful, and I do love pink. I love this color pink. So I won't be covering it fully. I'll just put something on it. Let's see, I can show one box that I have here. Excuse me a minute. Something like this. I may do something simple like put one of these images on here, and I have some wooden leaf cutouts. So that may be something of the look that I'm going for on this box. Again, I don't want to cover the entire box. It's so pretty, so I will pick, let's see, are these, oh no, these are threads. I was going to say, are these my little postcards, but they're not. That's in another box. So I may do something like that on this cover and antique the edges to make it look as if it's a little bit vintage. And so the way that this will work, I'll just take this out of there. The way that this will work, when I put the lining together with the pages that I'll be stitching, and then they're stitched all the way around, the whole length, all the way down and back up to the beginning, what I will do, I'm thinking, is I would like to insert this cardboard in between the layers, just on the front cover and on the back, so that there is some heft to this page when the cover is, and I'd like to put a little piece of ribbon here, so that when this is lifted out of the box as accordion style, when this is lifted out, this will give it some stability, and it'll have a little ribbon here. And I would like to put another piece of cardboard. I have 2 of these cut, and I'd like to put one for the very back page, for the very last page will be enclosed. It'll have the cardboard, and of course the lining will be over it, stitched together. And so I think that will give it some stability, but I'm not going to fix that last page, or the first page, well, the last page. I'm not going to fix that into the bottom of the box. So you can look at it and pull it out and look at the pages, but the whole thing will come out. You can either leave it in here or you can take the whole thing out, but I won't fasten the last page to the box so that it's stationary or fixed in one piece with the box. It'll be 2 separate pieces. This will just be its little storage container that will go in my quilt studio. So that's that, and I'll just share quickly some of the fabrics that I pulled that I thought I may be using in this piece. And again, I don't want to get ahead of the prompts or anything, but I love this fabric. I think this is beautiful. This has different types of birds on it, and dragonflies and bees, and you know, we don't know if there will be birds or anything. That I'm guessing there will be, but we don't know for sure. I just think that it's so pretty, and I think it would lend itself to this journal. But I truly would like to do mostly drawings and writing in it, but again, I don't know. We'll just have to see. This is the same fabric but in another colorway. That one was blue, and this one is kind of has more gold tones to it. So again, there are some nice images that can be taken out of here and maybe thread painted. So this was something that I pulled to possibly use. And this one with the butterflies, I don't know though. This is a little bright for me. I'm thinking of more of a vintage feel to it, not quite so bright, but I mean, who knows? You just never know, do you, till you're there. This is another fabric with butterflies. I love butterflies. I love the whole process of going from this worm, which is amazing, to a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. So this has some very pretty images that could be used in the journal, this project. And this one also has butterflies on it as well, with some writing. And these are very pretty butterflies as well. So, I mean, you'll be able to tell each page what would really look nice on the page. So it's nice to have a selection of these things. And let's see, what else did I pull out? This has some birds. Now this one I was intending on making a quilt, so I don't know if I will actually cut anything out of this. I just think these are so pretty. I don't know, I think I'll probably keep these intact, but what I might do is copy them onto a muslin. I could do that. I could photocopy them onto another piece of muslin so that I didn't really lose this fabric, because I think that would make a pretty quilt. What else have we got here? Let's see. Oh, here's another bird. This has birds on it. I love this bird and this bird, and we've got birds' nests and eggs and a butterfly. I love that butterfly, and dragonflies. So that's a very pretty fabric too that could be used. There's this one with pine cones. I'm hoping in the winter months we'll have some prompts with pine cones or pine branches, pine trees. So that might be useful. This is very springy looking to me. There could be a little piece of this used for something, a little added something. And this I just love. I love this look of the drawing on the ivory with the brown. I've actually got my brown Pigma pens that I'll be using in this journal, and I think the writing I will probably add myself, but again, I don't know. It may be nice to put little snippets of fabric with writing. Might look nice just as a little touch here and there, or as a background to something, so I'm not ruling that out. And this fabric is a favorite of mine. Has some beautiful, beautiful roses on it. So again, you know, I was going to say, are they peonies? But no, they're roses. I was looking at the leaves. The roses. So again, we don't know with the prompts, but I thought I'll have these things handy just in case I'd like to use them. And I had originally thought of these panels. I absolutely love these. And of course, Cicely Mary Barker has on here vetch, wallflower, yellow dead nettle, zinnia. Again, probably would be perfect for this journal of sorts, but I don't want to use these. These will definitely go into a quilt, and I did use a couple of these for a project bag. I used to sell them on Etsy, but they just took up too much of my time keeping up with orders. And here's the same thing. I bought 2 of these so that I would have them, jasmine, iris. So these are beautiful, but I feel it would be cheating to maybe use one of these to take up the whole page, other than if I thread painted. But again, I think I'm going to save these for a quilt. I think they're just too beautiful. So that's it. That's where I stand so far, and I have this ribbon, which I can either put on the box when the box is closed, or I can tie up my little field notes journal with this pink ribbon when it's all done. I may do something like that. So that is my beginning, and I will finish stitching on this. This will keep me busy for a while yet to finish this little stitch piece. So here's a close-up of it. I'm still working on it, and I'm just using either 2 strands of DMC floss, 2 strands, and then I wanted some very fine vines to come through, and that's the darker color, and those are in just 1 strand of thread. I just want it to be delicate. I don't want it to be too big and chunky. I just want it to be very fine. So that's it, and thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Wishing you many blessings. Bye for now.